I'm really pleased to be here moderating the day for the CoreNet Summit of 2012. We're living in really interesting times, and we hear the words like austerity and business restructuring all the time. But what does it really mean for the corporate real estate assets? And I think that's kind of the themes that are going to come out today. So we're looking at estate rationalization. We're thinking about how do we actually manage that portfolio on a day-to-day basis to make it a really positive work environment. We're thinking about the balance sheet issues. And we're thinking about drivers like the technology and sustainability, and what does that mean? So I think everybody who comes today is going to have a really great insight into some of the challenges that all kinds of different organizations that are on the platform are facing and how they're dealing with them.
Attending the CoreNet Summit is a great opportunity for knowledge exchange and for meeting colleagues and expressing your views and understanding what's happening in the market today, and so that we can take that forward and improve how corporate real estate helps occupiers progress and develop revenue.
I think the public sector have got a massive challenge, and I wonder whether or not they will go through and deliver that, because I think they're presenting it at a strategy level, but the different parts of the public sector, as I understand it, have got their own autonomy. So will they actually go through and deliver those benefits? I don't know.
We increasingly need to know the needs of end users, and we find coming to a conference such as this an exceptionally good way of meeting people, getting a view right from corporate clients in terms of their property strategy, etc., and then using that knowledge and information we gain in terms of how we can dovetail our FM service offer to big corporate clients such as we have here today.
Well, I've just finished my session with Vodafone, Billy Davidson and Chris Garwood from BP on Total FM, Is It a Myth or Reality? And we found it a really fascinating session, lots of questions from the floor. Billy, on the one hand, talked about a single supplier solution. They got Mighty doing an awful lot with them. That made me wonder as chair whether they were in too deep, if they got too many eggs in one basket. Chris from BP was very lucid on the challenges facing BP post Tony Hayward, the disastrous situation there in the Gulf of Mexico, and how the whole culture of the organisation is changing. He didn't think it was quite right to have all your eggs in one basket, and I think I get the sense that BP itself was generally too varied a group to do that.
I thought today's presentations that have been given both from Vodafone and BP have given us a really interesting perspective on some of the challenges which these companies, these people are facing, not just in the UK but globally, and understanding their approach, the rationalisation that they've gone through, what they need to be doing, the direction in which they're going, has really helped us to formulate a lot of our ideas when we're also talking to customers, when we understand what the market is doing. So we're coming away today with a really good, strong understanding of the industry.
This is great because we're starting to actually think about what are those key business and organizational drivers. And I think that's the thing that we need to reminding ourselves, is that we're dealing with property, which is at least three different kinds of assets. They're property assets, they're financial assets, and their workplace assets. And how do we balance those three different perspectives? So I think those are some of the key things I'm hoping that we'll hear today.
It's a real issue coming out of the back end of recession as organisations get to the right size of real estate that they need. What do they do with the real estate that they don't need? And what are the issues around consolidation and rationalisation of the state? And I suppose one of the interesting things was hearing the government, for the first time in my mind, really articulating what they're going to do with rationalising that estate across the whole of the UK.
It was really fascinating this morning just to understand the scale of the rationalisation that some of these organisations are having to go through and the extreme measures that they're taking, and they've been really quite creative, some of them.
It's going to be a very interesting couple of years just to see what happens with all that space coming onto the market, and particularly the fact there's not a lot of new build happening, and whether the fact there needs to be some new build coming through.
One of the things that I think we can offer is an alternative to using spreadsheets for capital planning. And most organisations we talk to have actually done this. It certainly gives organisations a lot more flexibility in terms of how they forecast their plans going forward.
What I was particularly interested in was what Matthew Stone was talking about, which is the surplus property deals. I think there has been a market for those, but in terms of the risk at the moment, I think the market is pricing risk at a higher level than people are prepared to do those deals at. So I think he mentioned there are 4 deals coming up over the next 4 years, or he's done 4 deals in the last 4 years. I think that's a great bespoke solution, but I'm not sure that it's a sustainable market.
Yeah, for me, the Cushman and Wakefield piece about the legacy portfolio is especially interesting because in my line of work, that's my main core business, and I heard some very refreshing ideas about how to package that up, the financial guarantees around it, which are especially pertinent to the business I work for.
Yeah, I think the most important thing was getting what could be a very dry subject matter and having some real energy in the presenters. So you come away being invigorated and stimulated.
The CoreNet Young Leader Group is a really important part of the CoreNet organisation, and I think it's important to have young leader representation at events like the Summit because it gives the young leaders a chance to network with a broad range of individuals in the industry and really get involved in the events.
We presented on the proposed lease accounting changes where there's a new exposure draft out in June of this year. We had Pratina Buchanan from the International Accounting Standards Board presenting to really give an up-to-date view on what changes are proposed, and then went through what the financial impact of that is on occupiers and the kind of things that they need to watch out for. I think one of the key messages that came across is that it's something that occupiers can use to engage with Treasury, engage with finance, get in front of them to talk about the financial impact of their property.
I think the highlights of the day have been the talks about the lease accounting changes. And we've had 3 fantastic speakers. They've made it all really clear and simple, and we await the changes with bated breath, but it has been very, very good.
It shows you that each business, no matter how different, are all looking to do pretty much the same things, and it's reduce the cost profile, drive value, whatever that may be, to individual organisations, mitigate and reduce risk.
When you're working in your industry, you are absolutely aligned with your business, their strategy, and you're the expert. But when I'm at CoreNet Summit, I'm mixing with my peer group. I'm getting learnings, I'm hearing new innovations, so it's very, very valuable.
I mean, coming to CoreNet today is quite a lot of time out of my diary, but it's actually quite a valuable time because you get to meet a whole load of people that you just don't get to come across in your day-to-day life.
I think today's been very good value, well balanced in terms of content. These events are pretty difficult to put together and search for relevant content that's not just a repeat of everything that's been tripped out before.
Overall, my impression of the event is a great buzz about it, lots and lots of really top people here, and a good programme.
What we saw were examples of people doing some really progressive and some really step change examples there, rather than just chipping away at the edges. This is a time to be bold and to do something different.
These gatherings are always great fun, catch up with a lot of people, a lot of friends, make new acquaintances, and this has been no different.
I'm really pleased with the quality of the event today. The content has been superb. The buzz in the room is excellent.
It's great to see that so many people here are networking, having a good time, and hopefully we'll take away at least 2 or 3 things from the conference today. So I'm really enthused by it, and I think 2012 is going to be a lot better than I thought it was going to be.